The term Farmers League gets thrown around a lot in modern football, often used as a way to insult other leagues and disregard them in some cases. But when is it justified to label a league a Farmers League? And does the WSL fall into that label? It's important that we define the term Farmers League, as some of you may have no idea what it is before we start discussing it. Jobs in Football defines a Farmers League as a derogatory term used by certain football fans to describe a football league that they deem to be lacking competitiveness or deep quality. The main reason a league will be called a Farmers League is due to it being dominated by the same team every year, while the rest of the league continuously fail to get anywhere near the top. Now, I say that I assume that most of you guys start thinking of leagues that fit into this category. The most common league that is often labelled with this term is the Liga F, the Spanish league, where Barcelona have won 5 times in a row, and it don't look like they're stopping anytime soon. But that's where our first problem lies, as if the only criteria for a league being called a Farmers League is that it's dominated by one team, then unfortunately most of the leagues in Europe would qualify for this. Chelsea, for example, have won the WSL 5 times in a row, and it looks like they are winning the 6th time, exactly the same as Barcelona. And Lyon as well have won their league 17 times, with the streak only being interrupted once by PSG in 2021, and so on. I could go on for a while. So how do we determine what is a Farmers League or not? Because surely not every league can be a Farmers League. I would like to make this clear that I am not using the term Farmers League in a derogatory way, as it is typically used. I am just using it because it is a label that is well known about leagues that are dominated by one team. And women's football is still growing, and that is the reason for these Farmers Leagues. So I am not using this video to insult any leagues at all, and the reason why certain teams grow faster than others is due to so many different factors, like investment from owners, time put into the team, money earned, and fans, and so much more. What this means is the teams that we are seeing dominating the leagues are often the same ones who have been given a lot more time and a lot more investment by their owners, and then they earn more money because of that. It isn't the team's fault, by the way, that they are better than everyone, and they shouldn't stop being good in order for the opposition to catch up. That is often an argument you hear, that, for example, Barcelona, you guys need to stop buying players to let everyone else catch up. No, it's not Barcelona's fault that the other team's owners don't put any time or any money into their team. So I am not using this video to insult any of the leagues, okay? I would like that to be known. In fact, I watch most of these leagues. I am not some English fan. I know that is the stereotype. There were the English fans who only watch the WSL way. I do not. I watch most of the leagues, and I actually find them more interesting than the WSL, unfortunately. This video is purely just to open a discussion about what constitutes as a Farmers League and how do we grow from this to stop these leagues from being boring and predictable. So what is the criteria for a Farmers League? If we want to determine if a league is a Farmers League, we need to set out criteria that can help us. For me, there are 3 different criteria a league has to meet. Number 1, the winner of the league is dominated by one team. Number 2, the European race has already been decided, i.e. you already know who's going to get Champions League before the league even starts. And number 3, the title is 1 month before the league ends. So we already know who's going to win it based on the point structure. Not that you can guess, it's just based on the point structure. Now, if we were to take this criteria and put it against the WSL, the results would be quite interesting. It is technically dominated by one team. Chelsea have won it a number of times, and I think everyone knows that Chelsea are going to win this year. You could argue that the European race has already been decided, as consistently the European spots get given to Chelsea, Arsenal, and City. Although there has been some seasons where there's been an outlier, for example, the 22-23 season, where United displaced Arsenal. However, the WSL doesn't fit the last criteria, as in most seasons, the winner of the league has only been decided in the last couple of game weeks, with the previous seasons going down to the last day. It is irrelevant that Chelsea ultimately won, as other teams like City, United and Arsenal have had the chance to snatch the title, but they've bottled it. That's not Chelsea's fault. That isn't Chelsea's fault. There have been situations where every single one of these teams have had the opportunities to win the league, and because of their own failings, they've lost it. And Chelsea are clinical. They've been there before, so they win it. So, is the WSL a Farmers League? For me, no. There is no correct way to decide if a league is a Farmers League or not, because again, it is this sort of imaginary label that we are putting on it. And it just depends on the individual person, on what your beliefs are of a Farmers League, basically. That's my beliefs. You guys can have different criteria. The criteria above is what I use in my brain when I think about Farmers League. So again, it is all up to the individual to decide. How do we fix these Farmers Leagues, though? As I mentioned before, I am not using this term to insult any leagues, but it is clear that certain teams don't yet have the needed investment by their owners. Again, I feel like I keep talking about Barcelona, but Barcelona are genuinely the perfect example of an owner who puts time, money, investment into the team. And it's not like Barcelona have just appeared out of nowhere and been this completely and utterly amazing force. It took time for this to happen. It took time, it took investment. Even though Barcelona are winning trophies each year, they look better, their owner has decided, hey, let's buy more players, let's get more players, and so they are growing each year, they are getting better. I think that is the perfect case also in the Champions League. You see them in the Champions League. The previous seasons, they just haven't been good enough for the Champions League, but they've been growing, they've been getting better. Now look at them. Hey, they could win their third in a row. So you compare Barcelona to other Liga F teams, and it is obvious why Barcelona are better. And they need the time, they need the money, they need the support to grow. And that's not Barcelona's fault. That is the other owner's fault. And Barcelona shouldn't be, we shouldn't go, oh, Barcelona aren't that good because they play in the Liga F. Yes, could the Liga F be a lot more competitive? Yeah, of course it could. But again, that has nothing to do with Barcelona, really. Let me make this clear, though. I am not saying that other teams in the Liga F are bad. I am not saying, oh, they're completely dog shit, because they aren't, guys. I'm a Liverpool fan, and I firmly believe that if you were to put Liverpool in the Liga F, we would finish probably in the bottom half, because we are not that good. What I am saying is, if you are measuring it in regards to a team like Barcelona, an elite team, they still have to grow. So I am not saying that every single team in the Liga F is so shit, they're dreadful. I'm obviously not saying that. I'm just saying that if we're comparing it to Barcelona, who consistently win the league, then they still need to grow in terms of investment. This will not happen overnight, as it's not as easy as I've just stated of just throw the money at the team. It takes time and real care. Little things that most of us don't even think about put the elite teams out of reach. For example, hiring of important figures behind the scenes like nutritionists and physiotherapists, players being full-time footballers, youth system infrastructure. There is little things like that put these elite teams above everyone else. And again, that takes time. It is not as simple as, hey, just buy yourself a good year. It's not as simple as that. It will take time. But if these owners start putting the investment in now, then in 5 years' time, their teams could be as good as Barcelona. What's stopping them? They have to risk a little bit of money for the growth that you see in other teams. And also, these owners have the money, by the way. They are not poor people. We shouldn't feel bad for them. We shouldn't be like, oh, but what if they can afford it, guys? It's not like they're you and me where we have to shop at Lidl every week. Do you know what I mean? They can afford it. So they can afford putting some time and some effort into these women's teams. This discussion is only related to the leagues and the quality of competition in them, and not the actual quality of teams. Again, I have to preface that. As the leagues are often labelled as farmers' leagues, often contain the best teams in the world. Lyon, for example, are European powerhouses. I don't think I have to explain how good Lyon are, especially in Europe. They have dominated the Champions League for decades, and then with Barcelona trying to follow suit with this domination, winning the Champions League 3 times and getting second twice. So I do not have to tell you guys that these teams are bad because they are in a uncompetitive league. They are amazing teams. They are the best of the best. If I were to hypothetically call the Liga F a Farmers League, that doesn't mean that Barcelona are dreadful and the rest of the Spanish teams are awful. It just means that there is a lack of competition. That is all it means for me, the term Farmers League. It doesn't mean, hey, you're a Farmers League, so that means you're dreadful. That's not what it means for me. It may be other people may throw that label around, but in this discussion that I am talking about, I am not using it to insult any teams. Isn't Chelsea or Barcelona or Lyon's fault that they are better than everyone else in their leagues? In fact, if we could use this information we learned to applaud the teams and their owners, then I think that is sort of what we've learned, that hey, their owners take time, their owners put investment into these teams, and look what they've gotten for it. For a league to transition out of a Farmers League, it isn't a case for these elite teams to slow down. It is for the teams below them to get better, to put it simply. But I firmly believe with the way that women's football is constantly growing, there's going to be a new European competition like the Europa League, more prize money being gifted to the teams, that it is only a matter of time before we see more investment, more time being put into women's football. This will take a couple of years. It will not happen, and some leagues will transition faster than others. For example, the WSL is becoming more and more competitive each year, whereas the Liga F still has some ways to go. But that is just due to the amount of investment that's been put in, especially considering the FA. If you look at Spain, the RFEF, they're horrific, they're dreadful. So they have to work a lot harder, a lot of these teams. But I firmly believe that it will be worth the wait, as women's football is only going up for here, and I'll continue to watch each league and hope that owners look on and give these teams what they deserve. I think the term Farmers League is surrounded by negativity, and I wanted to start a discussion on how we can fix this discrepancy between elite clubs and other teams. It is understandable that fans of clubs from these leagues get offended when they are labelled with the term Farmers League, as it's often used to disregard an entire league. But I only use this word as it has now become a part of footballing vocabulary, and most people understand what I mean by Farmers League. Again, I'm not here to insult any leagues. In fact, the opposite. I want these leagues to grow and flourish, but we cannot ignore the lack of competition in certain leagues, the WSL included. Again, it's not the fault of the top clubs, and they shouldn't slow down for others. It is on the owners of the other clubs to build an infrastructure that can grow their club. If you take one thing from this video, please don't disregard an entire league because of this label. I think you guys will find there are some great and much more entertaining matches outside of England. If you just watch the WSL and you're scared to watch the Liga F, the Ligue, the Frauen Bundesliga, because, you know, there are these labels getting thrown around, who cares? Just watch them. There were some absolutely amazing games with some absolutely amazing players, genuinely. And again, as I said, women's football is only going up for here. Each season, the teams will be getting better, hopefully, with more investment, more money, more time put in. Just watch other leagues. You don't have to be a super fan of them, but don't disregard an entire league. Don't be derogatory to an entire league just because of the lack of competition, because there is a lot more to it than just everyone else is shit. Barcelona, a little less shit. There is so much more to it than that. And that is me done. That is me done ranting about Farmers Leagues. Thank you if you got this far in the video. Thank you for watching. The support for the Arsenal video last week was amazing. I'm going to continue, guys. New videos, hopefully weekly. I don't know. Again, it just depends. I really enjoyed making this video. Please share your opinions on what you view as a Farmers League and all that. Again, we're not here to insult. I am not here to sit there and go, Barcelona is shit. But thank you for watching. It's very nice. Please do subscribe. Follow me on TikTok, okay? If you don't follow me on TikTok, if you came from elsewhere, Paul the Chicken 13. Also follow me on Instagram now, guys. I've got an Instagram where I'll probably be posting about this YouTube, maybe asking questions. And if you guys want to send me anything, you can. I don't really mind. Paul the Chicken 1. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any video suggestions or any input in this, just comment it down below. If you disagree with everything I said, hey, you're allowed to, because it's just opinions in football. Do you know what I mean? I'm not always correct. I just have a camera. It's okay, guys, to disagree with me. It's okay. But thank you for watching. It does mean a lot. I will see you whenever. Goodbye.